thanks everybody for agreeing to be a part of this. In this particular um, time that we're going to be working together, I think is going to have some great ramifications and some long-term ramifications. So first of all, the subject I think is very dear to my heart, and I think dear to a lot of our hearts in this room here. This idea of kingdom collaboration. And as I think through some of just from my seat, leading a church planning network, and then working with Send Institute, and then seeing things in church planning Canada, across Canada, that there are some choke points that lead towards, or that stymie or stop an advance that I think Jesus would like to do. And this is indeed getting at the heart of one of them, this idea of kingdom collaboration. I remember I was president of our denomination in Canada here years ago, and we were working on a bit of a covenant to help church, because we were watching, you see a new church start, and it would grow and grow, and another pastor would come, and it would grow and grow again, and then there'd be a kind of a real doorknob of a pastor show up in that church and abuse the people, and you'd watch that church just suffer and die, and he would always appeal to local church autonomy as the reason why nobody can come in there and help sort things out in our Baptist traditions. And I began to watch that and say, really, the issue in many cases isn't the autonomy of the local church, as however we define that, but more often than not, it's the autonomy of the local pastor, and who is the gatekeeper of keeping, fresh sunlight and good things coming into a church. And I remember as we were leading and writing this covenant together, the knee-jerk reaction in my tradition as we were writing this, I remember verbatimly, word for word, the words that were written, and it started out as, although we recognize the biblical mandate of autonomy, and I just said, whoa, let's stop here. Even though it's a tradition that we as Baptists really kind of hang on to, it's pretty difficult to prove a biblical mandate of autonomy. In fact, to me, it seems more obvious that we can prove biblically its opposite, interdependence and autonomy from however we want to skew our history. We begin to see that it's actually an overreaction to something else. And so we are beginning to say, how do we address a little bit of this? And last year, I guess it was 2 years ago now, Scott Moreau, Dr. Scott Moreau, who's not with us today, but did that presentation on the splintering of Christianity. And I think it stuck with a lot of us. It's like, whoa, that's a sad picture that we just watched over secondary, tertiary issues. And so what we're wanting to do today and tomorrow is it's going to have, hopefully, prayerfully, some significant ramifications, the discussion and the work that we do over these next 2 days. Number one is on September 12th and 13th at Wheaton, we're going to be doing a think tank on this subject. And we're bringing in network leaders, denominational leaders, and looking at how do we develop a principle-based framework to help networks and denominations sort of rethink this isolationism that we have and pursue kingdom collaboration. And so our kind of first and immediate goal, coming and stemming out of the 2 days that we're going to be spending together, is to help guide that discussion and develop a principle-based framework that we could use to give leadership in a hopefully an important conversation. And then secondly, we're going to want to publish a principle-based framework on kingdom collaboration coming out of this that we can actually disseminate from Send Institute. And so we're thinking This is going to be an amazing 2 days. I can tell you already, because we've asked some of our presenters, and we're going to be doing a number of TED Talk type things that some of our presenters pre-recorded, and that way we have an easier way to use them in other applications. And the stuff that has come in is going to be, you're going to want to listen to it and listen to it again and again. And so really pretty excited about this. One of the leaders that we were going to have is Dr. Michael Carrion. He had some personal issues he had to deal with, and he had to not come. But his framework that they have at City to City, and Neil Powell from Europe will be speaking probably a little to this, is when there's sort of 5 levels of collaboration, and they talk about these 5 levels, where he started the lowest. You start competition, and then maybe some coexistence, like, okay, you're okay, I'm okay, we're just not going to do it. And then there's some communication perhaps, and then there's cooperation, and then finally there's this collaboration. And we can kind of probably see our own tribe and our own even individual churches in that process. And so how do we sort of move them along that scale towards collaboration is what we're hoping for.